Hi, this is Joseph. We're going to do a quick update here on the pound dollar. This is one of the live trades that we've had open with the best Forex trade copier. So we're looking at trading session. This is the 17th of July. We were long the pound dollar. This is the 1 hour time frame. So I'll show you what the initial setup was here. It started to look like, and this is a trading strategy that I developed, so I apologize if you're not too familiar with the term, but I refer to this as something that's similar as a reversal or a T2 pattern. There wasn't enough divergence on this one, on that last move, this right side of this W bottom pattern here, right here, which sort of caused me to hesitate a little bit. I waited a little bit longer to make sure that I had more confirmation. And what I do in a situation like that is if the indicators don't line up exactly the way I need them to, then obviously there's going to create some kind of hesitation if I need that technical confirmation. But what I'll do is then move to the next time frame higher that I trade. So we're looking at a 1 hour time frame, and then I wait for the 4 hour chart. So with enough time, sometimes, and this isn't always the case, it just depends on when the setup is developing here on the 1 hour chart. But sometimes I can then take a look at the 4 hour chart, and then I will see a supportive candle pattern that then also gives me additional confirmation that what I'm looking at here on the 1 hour chart will work out. This one took a little bit longer than I anticipated. We held on to this one for quite a while. So one of the questions that I get with a lot of prospective, new subscribers to the trade copier is how long do some of these trades take? Are these day trades or are they swing trades? I'm not looking to hold on to a trade for 2 or 3 days or a couple of weeks. That's not what I'm doing. These trades are all primarily day trades. So I'm anticipating that from the time I get into the trade, and then from the time I get into it and I close it, that's all going to happen within usually the same session. Sometimes I have to wait until the following session, so it would be the same day. So for example, sometimes if I get into a trade during the London session, I might have to hold through the whole London session because you'll notice after news, sometimes it sort of stalls, things stall. And then at that point, we get another round of activity during the New York session, and then I'm able to close the trade about that time. So that's usually what I'm doing in a situation like that. It doesn't always work that way, but that's usually about how long it would take. But this one took a little bit longer. And in a situation like that, if it takes longer, there's obviously something happening that's causing traders to hold off on their decision. Whether they're deciding to close a negative trade or they're deciding to close a trade that's positive, or they're simply waiting to get into a trade, whatever that situation is, whatever is causing that, there's something there that's creating this slow price movement. It could be towards the end of one session and then the overlap. Maybe we're waiting for the next session to kick in. Something is there that's causing this to happen. Now, obviously, there's also the anticipation of economic data maybe a day or two ahead that could also create a situation like that. So every time it's going to be a little bit unique as far as the conditions. Overall, over the course of a whole year, it's all pretty much the same thing. It's just the markets are going to behave for the most part the same way, and you can see it in the charts. So again, this one worked out just fine. We just had to hold on to this trade a little bit longer before it actually ran up and ran into the take profit level for us. Now, if I go over here to the 4 hour chart, I'm also anticipating that it's going to continue a little bit higher. Remember, we're looking at the pound dollar. This is the pound dollar, and at this moment, with the information that I have here, it looks like it might go up a little bit higher, but I cannot exclude the possibility of another move lower. So in other words, it would pull down to a deeper Fibonacci retracement level and then bounce and go back up. That's what I'm thinking is also a possibility. So I'm on hold right now with this one, and I'm going to wait a little bit longer. But then again, if it picks up that momentum and we see it start to kick up, and this is the 4 hour chart, remember, this is the 4 hour pound dollar, it might come back up towards the highs from the end of June. So that's at this moment what I'm looking at. Now, everything can change. Everything can change in the next 4 hours. For example, once we get the close for today, we'll take a look at the daily candle. I'm going to reassess things. It might just stay inside this holding consolidation pattern right here through the rest of the week, which would be Friday into the close, and it might not really produce any signals. And then I'll have to take a look at it over the weekend and then reassess my decision if I think it's really going to continue higher or if I should look for opportunities to sell this pair. So just wanted to give you a quick update, just not only to give you an idea of what to expect with the trade copier and how long some of these trades can take, but to also give you a better understanding. When you see these trades executed in your MT4 account, sometimes it might take 2 or 3 trading sessions is what I'm getting at. I usually end up answering the same questions. I just want you to understand that that's how I'm doing it. I'm not constantly scalping and jumping into trades left and right just because there's a little bit of movement. I don't do that. I don't trade it that way. I did in the very beginning of my trading career. I just don't do that anymore. There's no need to do that. I wait for these safe, reliable, consistent trades, these patterns that I know are 100% of the time going to work. Now, obviously, I do understand that occasionally I'm going to get a failed trade, but I'm working very, very hard to pick these very prime and choice opportunities that I know are going to work 100% of the time. And the rest of the time, I'm just going to stay away from it. I'm just going to leave everything else alone because the rest of it's just noise. And there's a greater risk when I trade that way. When you're scalping and you're changing your stop loss and changing your targets, there's a greater risk of more failed trades in a situation like that. It's just not worth it. It's easier to do it this way. We always close every month with a positive gain. It's just easy. It's just easy to wait. Sometimes we experience, a few days, maybe a week of consolidation, and then we get that breakout and that trending move. And that's exactly what we wait for. That's exactly what I do. So I have these different trading strategies. For example, the HL30 is one trading strategy that I use where I can trade inside a consolidation. The T2 pattern is one that I just mentioned a moment ago. You'll notice that the T2 pattern, if you're following along, you're familiar with my signals and my trading strategy. This pattern here on the 4-hour chart actually developed the T2 pattern a lot better. And then also the continuation breakout trade, that's something that I use on the 1-hour time frame. And that puts us in the path of breakouts after usually and very often with economic data. And we can earn about 55 pips for day trading on the euro dollar and the pound dollar on those trades. It just depends. It just depends on waiting for these opportunities. Right now, I don't really have a continuation breakout trade setting up at this moment on the pound dollar. But again, I'll be assessing it. So again, after the rollover today, just before the Japanese session, the Asian session starts, we'll be taking a look at the charts, and then I'll be assessing whether there's going to be the potential or the possibility of looking for any continuation breakout trades. But again, once you get the trade copier, you add it to your MT4 account, and then everything that I do on my trading platform, the trade copier duplicates that for you instantly and automatically. You don't even have to worry about it. I manage the trade. If the trade goes bad and something goes wrong, I'm there managing the trade, and I can minimize the stop loss. I control the loss, and we never, ever, ever, ever use a stop loss larger than 55 pips. But even in a situation like that, even if it is going to be a failed trade, very often I can determine that it's not going to work. It'll end up being a failed trade. And I can close that trade with a loss, minimizing it, not necessarily needing to leave that 55 pip stop loss open. If it's a failed trade and I can see it's not working, I can close it minus 17, minus 20, minus 27, something like that. So even then, in a situation like that, we might not have such a big loss anyway. But I control all of that for you. And this truly is a way to make over 10,000 pips a month if you keep running this trade copier on your MT4 account. Now, obviously, there's going to be some limitations. If your MetaTrader broker doesn't execute the trade, there's nothing I can do to control it. I recommend getting the cheap Forex VPS service so that you can leave the trade copier and your MT4 account open on that VPS. And then that way you ensure that you're not going to miss any trades. Otherwise, if you leave it on your computer and you accidentally shut down your computer or something happens, there could be that miscommunication or that technical glitch where the trade isn't executed. But for the most part, the trade copier will execute every trade that I execute for you. It'll do the same thing on your MT4 account. Thanks for watching this video.